Hey everyone, and welcome to What the Tech. This is the show where we slice right through all the hype to bring you the tech news you can actually use. So let's jump right in. Ever wonder if those super sleek pop-out door handles on modern cars could actually be a safety risk? Well, we're going to dive into a story that starts with this really cool design feature, but ends with a brand new major safety regulation that could change how cars are designed all over the world. All right, so to really get why this is blowing up into such a big deal, we've got to start with the problem itself. Let's look at the potential danger that's kind of been hiding in plain sight on these really high-tech cars. Yep, these are the handles we're talking about. You know the ones. They sit totally flush with the car's body, which gives it that incredibly clean, futuristic look. Then, when you get close, they pop out. Tesla really made them famous, but now you see them everywhere, from the big, legacy automakers to new players like Xiaomi. Okay, so here's the million-dollar question. What happens when the power goes out? See, these handles are completely dependent on the car's electrical system. So if you're in a bad crash or the battery just completely dies, that electronic mechanism can fail. And this isn't just some what-if scenario. There have been some really high-profile and frankly terrifying incidents, some involving fiery crashes, where people were reportedly trapped inside because those futuristic handles just wouldn't open. So with a risk like that, what are the people in charge doing about it? Well, that's where China comes into the picture. And they aren't just looking into it, they are taking some pretty decisive action. That's right, Beijing, through its Tech and Industry Ministry, has just rolled out brand new regulations. And this is a big deal because China is now the first country in the world to tackle this head-on by mandating a very specific change to how these handles have to work. And they're not just dropping this on automakers overnight, they're phasing it in. By January 1st, 2027, all brand-new car models submitted for approval have to have this fix. Then, they've given automakers until 2029 to get their existing already approved models up to code. So it gives everyone some time to adjust, but the deadline is firm. And this slide really gets to the heart of it all. The old way? Handles could be 100% electronic, with no backup required. But the new rule? It's mandatory. Every single door has to have a mechanical release, both on the outside and the inside, that works even if the car has zero power. It's forcing them to build in an old-school, can't-fail backup system. Okay, so you might be thinking, that's interesting for China, but why should I care? Well, here's why. In today's global car market, a rule change in China creates a massive ripple effect that's felt all over the world. And it's not just us saying that. Industry experts like Bill Russo from Automobility put it perfectly. He says China is shifting from just being the world's biggest EV market to actually being a rule setter for new car tech. Basically, their market is so huge, they can set the new global standard. You know, this really forces a big decision for car companies like Tesla and Xiaomi. Do they make a special, more expensive version just for China? Or, and this is the more likely scenario, do they just change the design for all their cars worldwide? It's almost always cheaper to have one global design. And it's not like other countries are ignoring this. The U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is already looking into it, opening their own probe into the Tesla Model 3's emergency release. So yeah, this whole story is definitely still unfolding, and we're going to be tracking it very closely. If you want to stay in the loop, now is a great time to hit that like and subscribe button for What the Tech. And hey, we really want to know what you think, so drop us a comment below. Okay, so with the global picture set, let's get to the news you can use part. What does all this mean for you, especially if you own one of these cars right now, or you're maybe thinking about buying one? Okay, here is your 3-step safety check. Seriously, you should do this. First, go find your owner's manual, the physical one or the digital one on your car's screen, and look for the section on the emergency door release. Step 2, once you find it, don't just read it. Actually try it out in your garage so you know exactly how it works before you're in an emergency. And third, if you're shopping for a new EV, make this a non-negotiable part of your test drive. Ask the salesperson straight up, show me the mechanical release. How do I get out if the power dies? And keep this in mind, even though the U.S. doesn't have this exact rule yet, regulators here can still act. If they decide there's no reasonable way to get out of a car in an emergency, they can call it a safety defect and force a massive recall. So the pressure is definitely on. You know, when you step back and look at the big picture, this whole issue really comes down to a classic showdown that we're seeing more and more in modern product design.
It's this fundamental trade-off, right? On one side, you've got this drive for sleek, minimalist design. The flush handles look cool, they're better for aerodynamics. It's all about form. But on the other side, you have fail-safe safety. A good old-fashioned mechanical handle might not look as futuristic, but it is guaranteed to work, prioritizing function, pure and simple.
So, China has drawn a line in the sand. They've put fail-safe function over minimalist form, period. And this rule is forcing a real change in how these cars are built. The big question left for all of us is, will the rest of the world follow their lead? I mean, could this be the beginning of the end for the super sleek, flush door handle? What do you think the future of car design will look like? Thanks for watching What the Tech.